Today, Steve is meeting up with longtime friend and professional hunter, Phil Phillips, in eastern Montana. It's mid-November. The mule deer and whitetail are in the peak of the rut, which makes for some exciting action. This week on Steve's Outdoor Adventures. Steve's Outdoor Adventures is sponsored by Burris Optics and the Eliminator Laser Scope, Stormcloth 2 Performance Outerwear, Corbon DPX Ammunition, Kershaw Knives, the new Bresser 360 Trail Camera, Steiner Binoculars, Outdoor Trail Freeze-Dried Foods, Montana Decoy Company, CVA Muzzle Loaders, and UDAP Bear Pepper Spray.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Steve's Outdoor Adventures. Today I'm in southeast Montana, where I've been hunting with my good friend Phil Phillips for mule deer and whitetail along the Bighorn River in southeast Montana.
Steve and Phil have known each other for many years, but this was going to be their first hunt together.
Well, the first morning we kind of flipped a coin. That's not really true. Steve was a nice guy, said, you can go first, and we elected that I would take his CVA. I'm taking it in a 300 Winchester mag in the Apex. Really a cool rifle.
We were cruising around doing a lot of glassing. We'd looked at a lot of deer, and we stopped to glass these rocky ridges and this broken country, and we spotted this buck on the skyline. Once we put him in the spot and scope, we knew that he was a solid 4-point buck for the area. Had good brow tines. He had some does in there. It didn't take us long to go ahead and put together a plan and get started on a stalk.
As Phil and Steve begin their stalk, they run into an unexpected obstacle.
Once you know, we find one right in the middle of a cattle roundup. It's up on the bluffs up here about 1,000 yards from us. Pushing the cattle out, the deer got scrambled up, went over the other side. We're gonna beat feed up the bottom, try and get an angle and spot this buck. See, look good, nice big 4x4. Phil needs to fill that deer tag.
You know, this part of Montana is well known for its typical 4x4 mule deer, and that's really what I'm looking for.
You wouldn't believe it's 35 degrees out here, would you?
Is it 35? And it's sweating like this?
Sweating like a big old bull. Obama.
Old bull? Obama bull? Here's the deal. We've circled this hill. We can't find him. We've seen lots of does, another small 3-point, little spiker. No big 4-point. He was just up here. That cattle roundup got us a little...
There's still horses and cows going there. And horses and cows
over here,
going
and one over there, yeah. There's a bunch of cattle were in this pasture. It was our bad timing. He'll be in here tomorrow. We'll come in and find him. I'm sure he'll be feeding up in here to bed down about late morning tomorrow. We'll find him again. So we're gonna back out of here and go check some alfalfa fields.
Like the way he thinks, anyway.
But we scoured every inch, nook and cranny of that rocky, broken country, and we just couldn't find that buck. In fact, we hiked out of there kind of with our tail between our legs. But Phil and I got to talking, and we were talking to Rick, and we figured out that there's only one place that they could have gone, and that was they had to have crossed a little brushy, timbered valley and gone over into some other breaks. And sure enough, that's where we found them.
You got a doe in front of you, don't you?
Yep. No, I don't see him yet.
Or is he?
Oh, I got the head.
In the back.
He's behind the doe. He's top of the shoulders. Put the main crosshair top of the shoulder.
No, I don't see him yet.
He's behind the hill. The doe's facing us. He's right behind her.
This segment of Steve's Outdoor Adventures was sponsored by Burris and the new Eliminator Laser Scope.
As most of you know, the Burris Eliminator Laser Scope is the most advanced rifle scope on the market today. But did you know that it's also the best possible muzzleloader and slug gun scope as well? Simple and easy to mount and quickly calibrated in just minutes. You can easily extend the effective range of your muzzleloader or slug gun out to 300 yards. Just range them and eliminate them. Top your slug gun or muzzleloader with the new Burris Eliminator Laser Scope, and you'll become a better and more efficient hunter. Tired of spending hundreds of dollars on trail cameras? Then you need to look at Bresser. Bresser makes compact, quality trail cameras that take high-resolution photos or video. They're easy to program and work day and night. And Bresser's the only trail camera company on the market today offering cameras that take photos covering 45, 120, and 360 degrees. Ask for Bresser trail cameras at your local sporting goods store and change the way you hunt forever.
This segment of Steve's Outdoor Adventures is brought to you by Stormcloth 2. Before going to commercial break, Phil Phillips was about to drop the hammer on a big Montana muley.
As we snuck in there, Phil spotted the does first, and I looked ahead, and sure enough, there was the buck after the other doe. And we got around some trees, we moved into the open. I actually tried to get Phil to just sit down on his butt and put that gun up on his knee and shoot the buck, but he had a plan. He moved up to like a cedar bush, got set up, got a good dead rest, and boy, am I glad he had a rifle instead of the bow, because that buck was out there.
Phil is using a CVA Apex rifle, topped with a Burris Eliminator Laser Scope, and loaded with 180 grain Corbon T DPX ammunition, Steve's favorite caliber and bullet combination for open country big game hunting.
Now hit him. He's coming right. Now he's the last one. You have to range him.
Good.
Man! Hey! That one got him. That one. You got him.
Ooh, he's down.
He's all
He's
the way
down.
He's down, bud.
You
He's
got
down.
him, Phil. Nice shot. Nice shot.
You haven't shot anything on a
Good
rifle in
job.
a while, have you?
No, you could tell too. I didn't dare drop down that sagebrush. There's your brass, man.
Ah, thanks for the brass. I always like it when you get the lucky brass.
So I say always leave it better than you found it. Don't leave your brass in the woods.
Nice
300
shot.
yards.
So
He just came over from that valley, crossed right here. We caught up with him on the does right here. They shot through the sagebrush and the trees.
yeah, I just saw the dose to start with, and then he said there's the buck, and I looked at him and I said, well, he's not very wide. He said it's the same deer.
It's
And as
right
I'm looking for a place
there.
to get a rest, he turned sideways. You can see the forks. It's like, yeah, same buck.
Oh yeah, nice big front and
So-
back forks.
He let me get behind this bush and started going across and stopped again right there.
I was worried when he went behind the hill up here that he was going to go up the canyon that direction.
Right.
When he turned and side hilled, I
Yeah.
knew we had him then.
This
That was
thing's
no
cool.
brainer.
It said 300
Range?
yards. It's like,
Well, 299, wasn't it?
yeah, 299, but
Oh, I'll round up. I'll round up.
That's
Phil,
close enough.
You haven't shot anything with a rifle in a long time, so we got to round up, give you the 300-yard shot.
I'll take it.
Hey, I want to go take a look at him.
Let's do
This set in fast. This is like right now.
It's been doing
it
it all day.
snowing.
It's been no snow and then 10 seconds later snow.
Amazing.
It sticks a little bit and it melts.
Welcome to Montana.
If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. It'll change.
I want to, yeah. Let that song go down like that.
Yeah. Show them to us.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah. It's a nice buck.
Nothing wrong with that. Well, I tell you what, that was an incredible day hunting. We saw a ton of deer last night and you rolled in, told you about it. Come around where we saw all the big deer were, and late in the morning, we see this bunch of deer up on the hill, made a giant loop, they're moving cows. And we got back to the truck and Steve and I both said, you know, maybe we should just circle around there. The only place they really could have gone was that next valley. So instead of going around, we came over the top. As we're hiking down, the does came across. And Steve saw the buck. I didn't even realize he was there.
I just saw him he actually had finally gotten in front of the does, he was following one and there were two behind him. And then once I spotted him, I was pretty sure it was the same one that we had been chasing up in the rock.
I mean, you know, I came in on a short deal. I was just hunting in Kansas. I'm heading back to Oklahoma, so I had 3 days and Steve's gracious enough to let me be first. So
It's a great deer.
a good day. Absolutely. Beautiful deer. Beautiful deer.
This is a good buck that Phil shot him. He's a nice 4x4 mule deer, brow tines. I mean, just a real good typical eastern Montana deer. While Phil's ticket was punched, it was now my turn. And you know, I was thinking mule deer, but what I saw the next morning changed everything.
When we come back from commercial break, it's on to day 2, and Steve's hunt begins. This segment of Steve's Outdoor Adventures is brought to you by Corbon Ammunition. If you want hard-hitting bullets with deep penetrating performance, look no further than Corbon. It's 100% copper and fast expanding, with near 100% weight retention every time.
I don't trust any other ammunition, and in my line of work, my life depends on quality ammo.
Corbon is the official ammunition of Steve's Outdoor Adventures. So next time you're in the field, load up with Corbon DPX ammunition and drop them dead in their tracks.
I've seen 1,000 sunrises and just as many sunsets. I've hunted in the aspens of the Rockies and the sagebrush prairies of the West. I've endured the cold snow, the wet rain, and the hot sun. I am a hunter, and I wear storm cloth.
Hey y'all, this is Travis Tritt. You're watching Steve's Outdoor Adventures right here on the Outdoor Channel.
This segment of Steve's Outdoor Adventures is brought to you by Steiner and the new Predator Extreme binoculars. When we went to commercial break, Phil Phillips had just tagged a big Montana muley, and now it's Steve's turn to put his CVA muzzleloader to good use. Steve is using the CVA Accura 50 caliber muzzleloader, topped with a Burris Eliminator laser scope, loaded with 150 grains of IMR white hot powder, and pushing a 250 grain Power Belt Aerolite bullet. He's wearing the Stormcloth Blaze Orange jacket and camo pants, and using the new Steiner Predator Extreme 8x42 binoculars.
And we were out glassing these alfalfa fields, and we got these 2 big whitetail bucks in the spotting scope. I mean, we looked them over real good at just over a mile away. I could tell that the one was even just a bit bigger than the other one. Now, I'd never really been any place where I hunted whitetails like that. And, well, let's just say I became a whitetail hunter.
Run like mule deer. Oh no, there's a buck right there in the lead, isn't it? You look at those two.
Pretty cool.
There were so many deer that you really couldn't make a move on them, so we stayed back about a mile, kept them in the spotting scope, kept glassing them. We followed them from where they'd been feeding all night, down I guess a big brushy draw with some trees in it, down across a plowed field and into the timbered river bottom, and we bedded them for the day. And we had a plan.
Man, what to do, what to do. I do like the idea of just waiting for him
You
tonight.
got all day tomorrow still. Maybe
I
we
know.
should just leave him alone because he had no clue about us right now.
I'm just too gung-ho, man.
Yeah,
I want to go
blame you.
tackling. We got two 155 to 165 class bucks that were whitetail bucks, no less, down in these fields, and they just came down. One of them's all by himself back in the trees. I want to go spot and stalk hunting, but it's just too risky. I'm going to take the advice of my wiser, more whitetail experienced friend, Phil Phillips. Older, wiser, more knowledgeable whitetail hunting friend here.
We got tomorrow.
We got all day tomorrow. I think we're gonna ambush him tonight.
Closed captioning sponsored by Kershaw, the official knife sponsor of Steve's Outdoor Adventures.
The temperature and the barometer are dropping. There's a storm coming. Definitely see snow on the horizon. Deer up early moving. It's about 10 minutes to 3. It gets dark about 5, so we're gonna beat feet down this draw and get set up in our ambush a little earlier than planned, but this is it.
Well, deer moving already, so hopefully they don't.
Deer moving, yeah. I don't mind crossing paths as long as they don't see me first. Let's do it.
As Steve, Phil, and Rick get into position, the whitetails begun to leave the river bottom and head for the alfalfa fields to feed for the evening.
We're in the game. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bucks in front of us right now. Way out there. But the gate to the field is right around the corner here. We got them. If they want to go up to the alfalfa field, they got to come by me.
Well, we got set up in what I thought was the perfect spot. As a matter of fact, I think with just a little bit of tweaking, we could have hunted this spot with a bow. We sat there, and as the evening wore on, does came out, came right through, crossed right under us. Things were working perfect, and with the rut on, I was confident that the bucks would show up. We kept glassing the bottoms. We saw a giant buck in the distance, and as the light went down, I thought, well, there's no way a buck's going to get here in time. I don't know where he came from, but the next thing I know, Steve said, big buck. He was coming right to us.
Now, we were glassing every inch of that field below us. We knew every deer in that field. And I was getting worried that he wasn't going to come out before it got dark. So, in fact, we were making plans for what we were going to do the next day in terms of hunting him. And that's when he showed up, out of nowhere, trotting after a doe and coming right at us. He closed the distance from about 500 yards to about 250. In fact, I remember ranging him at 256, 253, 246. Here he comes. He's coming fast. Next thing you know, he's inside 200 yards. He's way within my muzzleloader range. Then he went behind the bush. This bush is right in front of me, and I can't shoot through it. He gets too close to the base of the hill. Then he turns right, and he goes, and there's a rock blocking my shot, and I've got to get up, and I've got to make this shot. And when I did, he spotted me and he froze and he's looking right at me. But at 108 yards, I wasn't gonna miss.
This segment of Steve's Outdoor Adventures is brought to you by the new Bresser 360 trail camera. Steve's Outdoor Adventures is sponsored by Burris Optics and the Eliminator Laser Scope, Stormcloth 2 Performance Outerwear, Corbon DPX Ammunition, Kershaw Knives, the new Bresser 360 Trail Camera, Steiner Binoculars, Outdoor Trail Freeze-Dried Foods, Montana Decoy Company, CVA Muzzle Loaders, and UDAP Bear Pepper Spray.
If you'd like to book this hunt for yourself, give my office a call. The toll-free number and website address are listed at the bottom of the screen. And I'm always available to take your calls and answer your questions and personally help you book the hunting or fishing trip of a lifetime.
Before we went to commercial break, Steve was in position. The big buck had closed the distance, and he was about to take the shot of a lifetime.
It's a big deer.
It's a huge deer.
That's a huge deer, man. Yeah. Oh my God, yes. Woo! Yeah. Yeah.
That worked out so good.
I can't believe he did either. Look at that buck.
Far your best whitetail.
That's a stud of a buck right there.
That's a beautiful deer. That's beautiful.
Good job.
That's a deer right there.
So it's all about, folks, right here, monster Eastern Montana whitetail. Phil and I came here for mule deer, and he shot a great buck yesterday. And then we saw these whitetails, and it feels like, man, you gotta think about whitetail. And I realized this license is good for either species. It's amazing. There's a lot of whitetails here.
And some great ones, obviously.
I'm telling you right now, I wanted to go in there. I have no patience. I am not a whitetail hunter. I'll be the first to tell you, I've never sat in a tree, and I am not a whitetail hunter.
So let's go down and pin him against the river. He can swim pretty good. I said, let's leave him alone. Let him come back past us this evening. And how lucky was that? Well, research. Rick knew that was the only way into the alfalfa field through that steep draw.
Yeah.
I had a really good feeling with the does up in the hayfield that he would do what he did. So
Rick's knowledge of the terrain here and the travel corridors, and Phil's lifetime of archery and rifle, whitetail hunting experience put me in the right place at the right time to make the most of this opportunity. He came out of the brush line, out of nowhere. I didn't see him coming.
we were watching with glasses the whole night. He said there's a good buck coming. I'm like, where did he come from?
Oh,
and
just
he trotted most of the way in. It was so cool.
It was phenomenal. Comes right to us. I had him at 296, and I just kept pegging him. Now eliminator, ranging him 256, 253, 246. And then all of a sudden he came on a bolt. He was just galloping toward us. And then I lost him behind the bush.
Turned into a Chinese fire drill there for a minute.
You know, it got pretty Western. And I know you're a cowboy and all there, but I wasn't used to that. And when he came out at 108 yards,
that was a bad mistake.
That was his undoing. And this is what it's all about right here.
Beautiful deer.
This is a tremendous week of hunting. I had a great time with my good friend Phil Phillips. Got to watch him shoot a mule deer buck. In turn, he educated me quite a lot on whitetails and helped me get the buck of a lifetime. In fact, this is a ranch and guide staff that I highly recommend to any of you out there who have ever thought about coming out west on a guided deer hunt. It's definitely an experience that you'll never forget. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this week's show. But please remember to join us again next week when we bring you another exciting episode of Steve's Outdoor Adventures.
Steve and Phil had come to eastern Montana not only to film their hunts for television, but to enjoy a hunting camp together, make new friends, and take home memories that last a lifetime. You can bet they'll be back in eastern Montana next fall. But for now, Steve and his cameraman are headed to northwest Colorado. So tune in next week for that exciting episode of Steve's Outdoor Adventures.
Well, I want to thank Steve West for inviting me on a fantastic trip to eastern Montana. We had a good time. I got a quality baby, kind of a smallish mule deer buck. And he got a big friggin' whitetail. I don't know what's up with that. 3, 2, 1.